Let it go. Let it go. That's for some of you being outcome dependent about Trump and left-wingers or right-wingers or the girl you're dating, or calm down. This is Caleb Jones, and this is Alpha Male 2.0, freedom-focused lifestyle design for men dating multiple attractive women all at the same time, long-term, with no drama or cheating or lying or bullshit, and location-independent income, so you are free from your soul-crushing 9-to-5 job, the freest lifestyle available to the modern man in the collapsing era in which we live. And that is a literal statement. I've looked at all other lifestyle models for men today. Alpha Male 2.0 is the best one, or at least, if you like, the least bad one. I've looked at the traditional right-wing conservative Christian lifestyle. You don't want that. That will not make you happy long-term. I've looked at the pickup artist lifestyle. That's the world I came out of. No, that will not make you happy long-term. I've looked at the standard monogamous lifestyle. No. I've looked at the red pill lifestyle. No. It's a little less bad. Not as good as Alpha Male 2.0. This is the best lifestyle. And if you find a lifestyle that is superior in terms of making you as a man happy for the next 50 years of your life, straight, not just in your 20s or 30s when you're excited, for the rest of your life, you let me know. Good luck, because I haven't found it, and I've looked. Alpha Male 2.0. We have as you can see, if you watch the video, I have slides and visual aids because you guys like those slides. You guys seem to like slides. So I have slides today. We're going to talk about how to discover and how to determine the best relationship configuration for you in your life based on your age, where you are in life, your preferences, what you want, what you don't want, FBs, MLTRs, OLTR, how many of each. We're going to talk about that in great detail today. Before I get to that, I have a question for some of you, and I may not get an answer to this question. Those of you who are doctors or fitness nerds, let me know if you have any input on this. I have a problem. So as you guys know, I was pretty sick last week for about 2 weeks. It's the longest I've ever been sick. I'm better now. I feel fine. I have no more symptoms. I'm happy. My Oura Ring reports that all my numbers are back to normal, except for one, which is HRV, which is heart rate variability, which is not a metric I'm very familiar with. So my resting heart rate at night when I sleep is in the low 60s. For a man in his early 50s, to have a resting heart rate in the low 60s is equivalent to an athlete. It's extremely healthy. Great. My sleep is great. All the other metrics in my Oura Ring, reported by Oura Ring, and my symptoms, I feel great. All the metrics are good, except my HRV is really low. It's 15. That's really low. Before it was around, 35, which is also somewhat low, I think. But it's been at 15 now for several days since I recovered. And so my Oura Ring gives me a readiness score. Those of you who wear Oura Ring, you know this works. Made up a bunch of other scores. So my HRV variability, what Oura Ring wants to see is that your HRV is the same every day or every week. It is a consistent. It doesn't want to see big fluctuations. Well, since it's usually around 35, now it's 15, which is very low. I'm getting a 0 score on a 1 to 100 on HRV variability, which affects my readiness scores. I don't know if I should be concerned about that or not. Now, it's not clogged arteries because I have resting heart rate that's equivalent to an athlete. So it's not that. My heart's healthy. There's something else going on in my system that just doesn't make a lot of sense. Don't know why. So if you are a doctor or if you are a fitness nerd and you understand what might be happening, you can let me know in the chat or the comments. And if you have any advice, I'll take it. What I'm going to do, here's my assumption. My assumption is that sometimes when you're really sick, it takes you a full 2 weeks to get back to 100%. And so my assumption is, even though I don't feel it, I feel fine. My body, there's some aspect of my circulatory system that's still recovering from the shit I had last week. So I'm going to wait another week and see how that goes. I'm getting back to my normal routine of healthy diet, which I did not have while I was sick, and exercising 6 times a week, which I was not doing when I was sick. I've already gotten back to that yesterday. So that's probably what my body wants. Hopefully that'll resolve it. There you go. But 15 is very low. Don't know what's going on. Confused. I'm going to wait another week. If this is still this low in a week, I may go see somebody. I may go see a specialist because that's odd. But I'm going to give it another week. Maybe by next week. My assumption is by next week I'll be fine. And that number will be back to normal. Who knows? Okay, a few questions really quick. We'll get to our topic. Had the talk, got some upset texts the next day saying I should have told her up front. I did via the cardinal rules. She says she has to go think about me seeing again Sunday. Should I go radio silent? Should I go radio silent now? Not radio silent for no. Leave her alone for 2 or 3 days. Not radio silent. 2 or 3 days. Leave her alone. The response is normal. Let her process. And if you did the cardinal rules and you did them for more than 3 months, ideally 5 months plus, you're good. She'll be back and she'll be fine. Don't worry. Was the American dream ever real or was it BS to begin with? It was real in the 50s. It was real in the 50s. You weren't born in the 50s. So you don't remember. You don't know. You have no context. If you're a young person, you were born into a collapsing culture. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, you were born into it. America has been collapsing since 2001-ish. So it's been collapsing for 25 years. So you have not seen a thriving culture unless you moved to Dubai like me. So yeah, in the 1950s, a low-income man, this will blow you away if this is true. My dad lived in this era. A low-income man, low-income working employee, dorky guy could buy his own house, 2 cars, have a stay-at-home wife and 2 or 3 kids and support them all. Yeah, because that's what happens when you have an economy that doesn't vote for Democrats or Republicans for 150 years. When you have low taxes, low inflation, high economic growth, strong middle class. Yes. And you had that in other countries right now. But yeah, the American dream was real. It started dying around the 90s. 90s is when it started dying. Yeah. Where to source your leads depends on what you're doing. Caleb, is the secret thing you're working on something like having a live-in FB? No, it is even crazier than that. I can't talk about that till October. Although it might be sooner than that. I've had some conversations with some people. It might actually be sooner than October. I'm giving you the worst case scenario. What percentage of humanity do you think make at least $3,000 per month in a location-dependent business? Very tiny, tiny, tiny. I mean, the Western world is only about 15% of the population of the Earth, so a very tiny percentage. If you follow the A2 model, we separate ourselves from 99% of the human population. Easily 99%, yes. One of you is saying just give it time. Yeah, I'm going to give it time. I'm not worried yet. I'll wait a week. Yeah. I remember you did a video series on handling divorce. Could you please do an expanded video for guys who want to start over and achieve the relationships they desire? Sure. That's a good idea. Cool. I heard the She-Hulk actress is mad at Ryan Reynolds. I did hear about this. Because the main villain is gay. Oh, no, I didn't hear about that. No, she was going to be in Wolverine, and they cut her out or something. That's why she was mad, right? The main villain is gay in real life, and she feels it was a missed opportunity to support the LGBT blah, 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 community. Typical. Talk about Deadpool 3. Yeah. Now remember, left wing is the norm in your country, Americans. That's the norm. She is normal. If you're not left, you're weird. You're the weird, unusual minority. Fitness nerd here. HRV is almost sure to drop after an infection. Sounds like that you had if it was 2+ weeks. Great. That's kind of what I figured. That's kind of what I assumed. I've never seen it that low. And it's not a number. It's not a metric I pay attention to. HRV is less important than like resting heart rate. That's my big one. I want that below 60. I want that like 58, 59. I'm not exercising hardcore right now, but as soon as I get back to that, I'll have that there. So that's cool. All right. Okay. Should we get to our topic? Let's do that, shall we? One more question. If a girl you were dating for a few weeks blocks you, should you go no contact or reach out in the future? Yes, but your odds are low if she blocked you. I have never in my entire life had a woman block me. And I've been with a lot of women over the past 17 years. So if women are blocking you, first you look in the mirror and say, where did I fuck up? Unless I'm forgetting about something. Maybe I forget about 1 or 2 people. It's possible. I can't remember a woman ever blocking me because I'm nice. I don't do drama. All right. So here we go. And as you can see in the video, we have visual aids because you guys like those. If you are listening to the podcast, don't worry, I will explain it. By the way, this is also a podcast. If you prefer the audio version of these, you go to alphamale20.com/podcast. I'm on all the top 10, top 12 podcast platforms. If you want the Unchained CEO podcast, that is at Caleb Jones, CALEB as in boy, calebjones.com. youtube.com/podcast. You can listen over there. All right. You have a drink of water. I just filled this thing, so it's very heavy. Holy shit. How to find the best relationship configuration for you. We are all different. We're all different ages. We're all different personality types. We're all from different cultures. Some of us want kids. Some of us never want fucking kids. Some of us already have kids. We're all different. And so your job as part of your long-term consistent happiness model for Alpha Male 2.0 is to identify what model of relationship you want. We have FBs, MLTRs, OLTR, OLTR wife. What do you choose? How many of each? You need to figure this out. Now, some of this is experimentation, but I'm going to let you know how this all works. So step one in this process is to understand the difference between the three relationship types we have here at Alpha Male 2.0. If you are new or relatively new to this material, there are three very specific types of relationships. There's FB, MLTR, and OLTR. Some of you are already familiar with this. Some of you are very familiar with this. Some of you are kind of familiar, but you've forgotten. Some of you are new. So I'll explain this briefly on the differences of these three models, these relationship types. Very important to understand the differences between these three models. FB and MLTR were two terms coming out of the pickup artist world that I have subsumed. Is that a word? OLTR is a term I invented myself. First one is FB. That is friend with benefits. Often on the internet, this is called FWB. I take out the W because FB can also stand for fuck buddy and various other things, and it's easier to say. So what is an FB? An FB is a friend you have sex with. She is your friend. You are not dating her. And sometimes that's a difficult concept for modern day pussy men who get one-itis all the time. Yes, it's possible to have sex with a woman for 5 years straight. I've done it many times and never date her. Newsflash, women like to have sex. They enjoy it a lot. And so if they like you and they trust you and they're attracted to you, they will fuck you for a long, 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 long time as purely an FB. And that's good. It is not someone you have feelings for beyond friendship. They're your friends. You're not dating her. You don't have feelings for her. You don't love her other than as a friend. Now, to be clear, and I've talked about this many times, I've been following these models for 17 years. So I've had a lot of FBs. FBs is my favorite category. Every man on earth should have several FBs. That's my opinion. Every man in the world should have one or two FBs. Every man, including if you're married. I'm married. Should have FBs, non-monogamy. Okay? FBs are awesome. Now, you can have FBs that you grow very close to as friends. I have, over the past 17 years, built some really strong, really good relationships with various women in various countries who are very important people to me. They're very special to me. But I'm not dating them. I don't love them. They're my friends, but they're close friends. Okay? So when I say she's just your friend, sometimes the word just is misleading. Sometimes she can be a close friend, but just a friend. You're not taking her out to dinner or going to movies. She's your friend. You're not dating her. Very important distinction with an FB. No going out on dates. You do not take a female out on dates if she's your FB. That will send conflicting signals, and then you will get drama, and it'll be your fault. My favorite example, and I've had other guys do this. This is not the only guy who said this once. I think it was on my blogs. He's like, hey, man, I have this FB. She's just a fuck buddy, right? So it's been great. And then, I took her and saw a movie, and we went out to dinner, and then she gave me all this drama. What the fuck? Yes, dumbass, because you sent conflicting signals. You're just an FB. Let's go out to dinner. Do you understand how fucked up that is when guys do this? That's why these categories are three very distinct categories. You follow these three distinct categories, you'll never have these problems. No going out on dates. If you want to take her on dates, you make her an MLTR. We'll talk about that in a second. No spending the night. That, again, is a conflicting signal. Now, a lot of guys have a problem with this. Well, Caleb, isn't it mean? Isn't that mean if you don't let her spend the night? No, dumb fuck. It's mean if you let her spend the night, but she's just a fuck buddy to you. Look, you're just a fuck buddy. Now, sleep with me in my bed. Let's cuddle. Spend the night at my place, in my bed. Conflicting signals. You are better off to kick her out nicely, and then I'll see you next Tuesday. It's mean to not follow these models. All right, next one. Excuse me. As soon as I start talking, then my throat gives out. Hang on. MLTR. MLTR stands for multi-long-term relationship. And I mean long-term. I've had MLTRs go past 10 years, either consistently or with listen pitties. What is an MLTR? Now, this is different than an FB. This is actually a woman you are dating. This is a woman you like. This is a woman you have feelings for. Yes, so you can go on dates, you can spend the night, all good, unlike an FB. However, an MLTR is not your girlfriend. She's not your girlfriend. So girlfriendy stuff is not allowed because why? It sends the wrong signals because you can have multiple MLTRs. MLTR is an open, wide open relationship model. It's not exclusive at all. You can have 3, 4 MLTRs if you want. You can date multiple women and have feelings for multiple women. I did it for 12 years before I married Pink Firefly. Great. You can go out on dates. Of course. Now, there's rules about this. You don't want to take her on extravagant dates. You don't want to rent a limousine for Valentine's Day. That's boyfriendy shit. But you can absolutely go on dates all the time. That's perfectly fine. She can spend the night. I had MLTRs. When I was seeing MLTRs, I would literally have one MLTR spend the night on Tuesday night. She leave, and then Wednesday, another MLTR spend the night. Great. Perfectly fine. As long as you follow the cardinal rules, which are outside the scope of this presentation. But that's perfectly fine. She can spend the night. That's fine. No travel or big trips. That's boyfriendy stuff. You don't take your MLTR and go to Hawaii for a week. Conflicting signals. That's too much. No trips. Spend the night, go out. Yes, no trips. No meeting friends or family, especially family. You meet her parents, that's boyfriendy stuff. No. Meeting friends is also kind of a no-no. Now, sometimes it's a gray area. Well, Caleb, we're going to go out to a party and her friends will be there. And it's risky with an MLTR. It's not a good idea. Sends conflicting signals. Oh, is this your boyfriend? Oh, you guys going to get serious? You're opening a door to all kinds of shit you don't want, to drama and problems, if you do this with an MLTR. Now, one difference with MLTRs from FBs or OLTR is that MLTR is a range. FB and OLTR are binary. She's an FB or she's not. There's no such thing as a low-end FB or a high-end FB or a kind of FB. No, it's an FB or not. Same thing with OLTR. She's your OLTR girlfriend or she's not. MLTRs are different. It's a range you could consider between 1 to 10. Okay? So maybe you have 2 MLTRs, one on a scale of 1 to 10 you like, one is a 2. So she's like a low-end MLTR. You like her, but you don't really like her. And then the other MLTR is like a 7 or an 8. You really like her a lot. She's still not your girlfriend, though. Okay? That's fine. You can have one high-end MLTR who's maybe, let's say on that scale, she's a 9 or a 10, who's almost like your girlfriend. She's not your girlfriend, but almost like your girlfriend. So that is allowed, as long as there's one of them. Okay? We can go to detail about that in the Q&A if you want. That's outside the scope of this particular presentation. Peter Piper picked a pecker. All right. OLTR is the last one. Open long-term relationship. What is an OLTR? An OLTR is your girlfriend. This is a woman you are in love with and you have a long-term plans with. That's how I define girlfriend. Girlfriend is, and you've made commitments to. So when you are absolutely in love with her, she's in love with you, you have long-term plans for her, ideally the rest of your life, if not long-term, and you've made commitments to each other. That's a girlfriend. So OLTR is your girlfriend. It is emotionally exclusive, but sexually open, unlike an MLTR. So emotionally exclusive means you only have feelings for her, and that's all. You don't have feelings for other women, but you can fuck other women. Pink Firefly has been my OLTR or OLTR wife, depending on what time frame, for almost 10 years. I still see FBs every week. But I don't date other women because I'm exclusive to Pink Firefly. You made commitments and promises to each other. Now, not a lot. This is alpha male 2.0. This isn't beta male. This isn't Christian. This isn't Muslim. It's not like you made 14,000 promises to your girlfriend. No, you made 3 or 4. You made some commitments. I've made 2 or 3 or 4 commitments to Pink Firefly, and that's it. But that is different than an MLTR. You've made no commitments to an MLTR. None. When you have an MLTR and multiple MLTRs, you can do whatever you want. FBs, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And so can she. MLTRs can do whatever they want too. OLTR, you've made some commitments. And she's made some commitments to you. Not very many, but some. It's serious long term. You can have sex with other women as much as you want as long as they're FBs. No MLTRs are allowed. You can't have an OLTR and then have two MLTRs to the side. That doesn't work. OLTR is exclusive. You only have feelings for her. And I only have eyes for you. You only have eyes for her. So you can't date other women. You can only fuck other women. Now, if your immediate reaction when I say that is, but I want to date other girls, then you don't ever get an OLTR until later in life. I didn't have an OLTR until I was late 40s. That's how you do it. That's the smart way. That's the smart play. Okay. We'll talk about when you get an OLTR and stuff like that in a little bit, a little later. Okay? So if you want to date and have feelings for multiple women, don't get an OLTR. OLTR is a lot of work. They take a lot of time. There's disadvantages to OLTR. Okay. Just have 2, 3 MLTRs and date all you want. Have fun. Awesome. No restrictions on time spent or friends and family met. So she's your girlfriend. So of course you can meet her parents. You can meet all of her best friends. You can spend every day with her if you want. I wouldn't, unless you live together. Okay. But you can go on trips. There's no restrictions because she's your girlfriend. You can engage in boyfriend behaviors. Some guys say, well, Caleb, should I do X, Y, and Z with my OLTR? Or is that a boyfriend behavior? You are her boyfriend if she's your OLTR. Boyfriend behaviors are allowed. So I can take Pink Firefly, my wife, out on a fancy date for Valentine's Day. I can do that. She's my wife. It's okay. Provided my frame is 100% rock solid outside of that. I have an entire book about that called the Ultimate Open Marriage Manual on how to maintain your frame when you're married or have a girlfriend. And if you have trouble with that, go get that book. It's also a course. You can only have one. You only have one OLTR. Why? Because it's exclusive. How can you have multiple OLTRs? So you can't have multiple OLTRs. You can't have an OLTR plus a bunch of MLTRs. Okay? Make sense? You can only have one OLTR. You can have multiple FBs, multiple MLTRs. You can have one OLTR, and then we have an OLTR. You can have no MLTRs. So if it's an OLTR, it's OLTR plus FBs, which is what I've been doing for, almost 10 years. But 12 years before that, I had FBs and MLTRs lined up a mile long. It was great. You do what makes sense for you in the current time of your life. You do what you want, not what women want. A lot of you are asking questions. When I finish this section, I will answer your questions. Okay, there is a subtype of OLTR, which is called the OLTR wife. That is an OLTR you live with. So it doesn't matter if you're legally married or not. If you live with your girlfriend, you're married. I don't care what paper you haven't signed or have signed. You're living the life of a married man. So I call it a wife. She is your wife. So if you have a live-in girlfriend, those of you who have a live-in girlfriend, I hope you're over age 35. For that in a minute. If you live with a woman you have not married, you're married. Not legally, but logistically, you're living the life of a married man. Unless you're doing something weird like me where you're gone several months a year. Okay. Same thing. FBs are allowed. MLTRs are not. So even when Pink Firefly moved in, even when we had a wedding and got married, I still see FBs every week. Years ago, back in 2000, when was it, 17, 16, when I was talking about, hey, I'm engaged to Pink Firefly, I said on my blog, there were a bunch of naysayers that, oh, Caleb's going to get monogamous now. Watch, everybody. He's going to get monogamous now, just like everyone, just like we all did. Just watch. He's going to get monogamous. Just watch, everybody. You can go read those comments. They're still there in my blogs. Nope. I walk my talk. I have sex with FBs every week, and I have since then, and I don't stop. I walk my talk. I am what I say. Now, there are more restrictions when you live with a woman than when you don't. So if you live with your girlfriend or your wife, there is even more restrictions. Not if you're smart, not too many, but more. There's more because that's the nature of living with someone. So it's one of the downsides of living with a woman, right? If you live with your wife, can you bring over 3 or 4 of your FBs and have a big orgy in your house and your wife just sits there? No, it doesn't work, does it? Right? So there's some more restrictions. Got to be aware of this. But the good news is you can do things like settle down, get married, have children, move to another country with her. So if you want to have kids, that's the model you follow. Those of you who want kids. Or want to have that, picket fence lifestyle once you're well over the age of 35. Cover that in a minute. All right. A few of you, before we go to the next part 2, I want to answer the question. See a lot of questions about these definitions. Let's see here. And we'll go to the next section. Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, I must confess, I know of no better country where one may find greater opportunities to accumulate riches, referring to the USA. Yeah, that was the 1940s, 1930s. Women have higher sex drives than men, I believe. That is partially true. My standard statement, I've written entire sections of my books about this, is that men are horny. Women are horny when they're horny. And when they're horny, they're more horny than men. But women aren't always horny. You're a guy, you're horny all day, unless you have very low testosterone. You're horny all the time because you're a guy. That's how you're wired. Are women horny all day, all the time? No. Women are sometimes not horny at all, and sometimes women get horny and then they're monsters. Oh, I got some girls here in Paraguay, Latinas, when they get horny, woo! Watch out. Women over 40, when women over 40 get horny, woo! Rip your dick off in a good way. FBs are easy, but struggling with MLTR, I think I follow the rules. That means you're probably not. If you think you are, you're probably not. But when they find out we're not mono, she always leaves so far. Any thoughts? You are not following the cardinal rules. Go watch the video I did in the cardinal rules or read the book, The Ultimate Open Relationships Manual, follow the cardinal rules. What separates not putting up with drama with a woman and not being able to pass shit tests and or not being able to verbally spar with a woman? Soft nexting. I have an entire video on that, and I have several articles on that, plus talk my books. You soft next. You don't say, don't talk to me that way. I'm a man and you're a woman. You don't do Andrew Tate. That's just going to cause conflict and problems and drama. Now, if you like, some of you weirdos like to be angry and like to have conflict, don't take my advice. Do whatever you want. Scream all you want. If you want to be happy, you soft next, which means you basically just get up and leave. You could give her maybe one warning, and then you get up and leave, and then you don't respond to her phone calls or texts for anywhere from 24 hours to a week. And guys have a real problem doing this because they've never done it before. And you do that, she will be so horny and amazing and nice when you do this, but you got to do it. That's the answer. Read a quote from Fountainhead today, and it made me angry. Angry at the fucking mind virus that society infects us with. Angry, have been a sheeps for so long. When did you break free, Caleb? At least 25 years ago. Isn't PF afraid the whole time that you'll meet someone you like more? No. When you have an OLTR, you have trust. Trust. She trusts me. You have trust. No. And if you don't trust her or she doesn't trust you, she shouldn't be your OLTR. Quick question. I have an OLTR. Is it possible to have a paid hooker FB and treat her like an MLTR when you see her? Anything is possible. What you're asking, is it a good idea? No. You don't treat sugar babies like women you date. I'll mention that in a minute. No. Why would you do that? No. I seek affection from women and crave variety in the dating experience. Very dangerous to have an OLTR, though. I don't know why you have an OLTR. I need emotional connection with women, but I have a girlfriend. I think you fucked up. I think you need to downgrade your OLTR to your high-end MLTR, and I think you start having MLTRs instead. You and men like you should not have an OLTR. You're not ready. And that's okay. I didn't have an OLTR until I was in my late 40s. It's fine. There's no rush for this stuff. I have affection for every woman I have sex with several times, even if they're just FBs. I will address that in a little bit. That's a problem. That's a problem you need to fix. Why am I allowed to be almost emotionally exclusive with a high? I didn't say that. That is not what I said. I did not say you're almost emotionally exclusive with a high-end MLTR. High-end MLTR, you are completely wide open, non-exclusive at all. I had a high-end MLTR for years, and I still dated other girls. I did not what I said. I mean, like, what's the main difference between a scale 9 high MLTR and an OLTR? Both can be somewhat emotionally exclusive. No, you are wrong. A high-end 9 or 10 MLTR is emotionally wide open. Incorrect. The difference is you can do things like you can go on a little trip with her. Remember I said no trips? With a high-end MLTR, you can go on a trip with her like over the weekend, like 2 nights. That's okay. You can maybe meet her friends if you're careful. That's okay. You can kind of go a little bit in that zone. You are not emotionally exclusive with a high-end MLTR. Nope. That is the binary aspect of an MLTR. It's emotionally open. Open. OLTR is emotionally closed. Period. In the story. Caleb, you said 10 to 30% of women can't. Why can't they? I don't know what you're referring to. Can you repeat what I said? Does traditional monogamy still work somewhere outside the West? Only in oppressive societies. Like if you live in an oppressive part of Saudi Arabia, then maybe that'll work. Outside that, no, it does not work. All right, now move on. Next piece to this. Step 2 is you need to understand the restrictions that are around these 3 models. You can't just do literally whatever, other than FBs, you can't just do literally whatever you want. There are some restrictions for each of these models. You understand these are the downsides of these models, okay? So we'll cover the first one. We'll cover FBs first. FBs are my favorite. You're about to find out why they're my favorite. You can have FBs at any age. You could be 18 years old. You could be 85 years old. You can have FBs. The beauty of FBs. I will have FBs probably the rest of my life in some form or fashion. Into my 70s and 80s, and all the women in my life know this. There's no age restriction. The women can be any age you want, down to the age of consent. Don't go under the age of consent in the country where you live. Obviously, you fucking morons. And I know some of you. I got some emails. Well, she's only 15, but she's kind of hot, so I think I'm going to go. Okay, dumb fuck. Don't do that. Especially if you live in the United States or Canada. You live in the USA or Canada, please follow the law. Don't go under the age of consent. Other countries don't really care. I get that. The United States and Canada are very puritanical and psycho about this. If her parents have a problem with you, one phone call and you're a registered sex offender for the rest of your life, you may go to jail. Have fun. Don't do that. So, but other than that, as long as she's of the legal age, she can be any age you want. She could be 18. She could be, let's see. The oldest FB I've ever had, when I was in my late 30s, I've had many FBs who were 18, 19, 20, I have a billion of those. I had an FB when I was like 38, 39 years old, late 30s. She was 55. Fantastic. Fantastic. Physically fit, very genetically blessed in many ways. Great. I've mentioned her once or twice in my blog. She was fantastic. You can have FBs of any age. We'll talk about MLTR in a minute. You can have as many FBs as you want. There is no limit because they don't take very much time. I mean, there have been times I had a rotation of like 11, 12 FBs. Now, please, don't do that. I was being a maniac back then. But you guys many as you want, especially you got other countries. Talk about that in a minute. So there's no limit to the number of FBs you can have active at one time, other than your time. Because FBs don't take a lot of time. You're not dating them. You're not going on dates. They're not spending the night. They're coming over. You're talking. You're fucking, and she leaves. Or you go over to her place. You talk. You fuck. You leave. It doesn't take a lot of time. FBs can have boyfriends. I have said that up to about maybe 40, 50% of the FBs I've had under the age of about 26 had boyfriends when I saw them. They don't care. They don't give a shit, especially the younger girls. They do not care. Some of them are cheating. Some of them just told the boyfriend, I'm going to fuck this guy. You don't like it? Fuck you. And the guy and the beta male boy was like, what? Okay. So, so fine. Now be careful. Don't go crazy with this, but I'm saying it's an option. You can do it. Long distance is perfectly fine with FBs. I have harems of FBs in about 7 different countries. I'm a 5 flags guy. My biggest ones would be here in Paraguay, Dubai, United States, and the UK. I have a lot of them in those countries. And I have various other countries all over the world. I've got FBs. Great. Great. So if you're an international guy, you travel a lot, great. If you have regular flags you visit, set up some FBs there. See my point? See why FBs are so great? They're awesome. Love it. Sugar daddy game is okay for FBs. It is not okay for MLTRs. It is not okay for OLTR. Why would you pay a woman to date you? I can't think of anything more beta than that. But yes, if you are an older guy, you have a lot more money, you're more busy, and you want to spend the time dating, sugar daddy game is an option for FBs. Perfectly fine, including ones that have boyfriends, including ones that are long distance, all good. I've had a lot of FBs. Most of my FBs I had were not sugar baby, but I've had a few with that too as I got older and make more money. Perfectly fine. So basically, in terms of restrictions for FBs, there are none. That's why FBs are awesome. You see why I say every man should have an FB or two? They're the best. So at any point in your life, you're going to have FBs. We'll talk more about it in a minute. All right, now let's shift gears to talk about MLTR. MLTRs, what are the restrictions? You can have them at any age. Again, you can be 18 and have MLTRs. You can be 85 and have MLTRs. Doesn't matter. No problem. Just like with FBs, they can be of any age. Of course, yes, they have to be legal. Don't be stupid. I've had some guys say, well, she's only 19. She won't qualify for an MLTR. No, she can. I've had MLTRs who were 18. I'm thinking of several. I'm thinking of one right now years ago. She was great. She was fantastic. So I had an FB was 55. I had an MLTR was 18. She was wonderful. I've had several. I'm thinking of two more now. One of my best MLTRs I've ever had in my life was 19. She was great. Great. She's not your girlfriend. You're not going to marry this chick. So it's okay. She can be any age you want. Now, to be clear, women over the age of 33. This is a very big topic. I've talked a lot about this in my blogs and books. I'm not going to go into detail about this. Women over age 33 are not going to want to be an MLTR for a very long time. They're fine being FBs. They're obviously fine being OLTR. They do not like being MLTRs. So it's going to be hard for you to maintain MLTRs with women over 33 for an extended period of time. It can be done. I have done it, but it's difficult because I've talked about many times. If you have three categories, which are basically FB, MLTR, OLTR, but let's translate that to normal humans. If you have casual sex, then you have dating but not yet serious, then you have your very serious boyfriend, girlfriend, right? You have these three categories. Women under 33 have no problem with any of those three categories. They're fine with all three. Women over 33, they're perfectly fine with casual sex under certain conditions. They're fine with it. They'll fuck the pool boy. That's fine. And they think that's perfectly fine, right? Obviously, they're cool with having a boyfriend or a husband. They're cool with that. Dating but not yet serious makes women over 33 extremely uncomfortable. Matter of fact, remind me, a woman left a comment on one of my videos the other day, one of my older videos, who was over 33 and commented about her feelings about my material. If you remind me, I'll put up a screenshot. We can go through that as an example of how women over 33 think. So anyway, women over 33, when they're dating but not yet serious, think they're wasting their time because they're provider hunters. They have biological clock going on, a lot of factors. But that includes women who never want to have kids. Billy never wants to have kids, and she acts just like any other woman over 33. My wife, Pink Firefly, never wants kids. Same deal with her. So it doesn't matter if she wants kids or not. They're provider hunter mode after that. So MLTRs are difficult with women over 33. It's possible, but just set your expectations. Okay. But they can be any age you want. You can have an MLTR who's 65. You can do it. How many can you have? Up to 3. 3 is a working maximum. More than that is not a good idea. Can you have more than 3? Is it possible? Yes, not a good idea. Why? MLTRs take time. Unlike FBs, don't take it. MLTRs, you're dating them. You're talking to them. You're spending time with them. You're going on dates. Maybe you're spending the night. You're going on excursions. You're on the phone with them a lot. There's someone you're dating. You're dating 3 women like that? Takes a long time. Now, I've done it. I've had up to 3 MLTRs before. Usually I had 1 or 2 and then a smattering of FBs back in those days. But I've had up to 3 MLTRs, and it took a lot of time. I was working really hard. So it's maximum 3. I get guys, occasionally these young guys, I want 6 MLTRs. Bro, you don't know what you're asking for. You don't have the time. Unless you have nothing but time. I guess if you don't work, I don't know how that works, but if you just don't work and have nothing to do all day and you want 5, 6 MLTRs, go ahead. That's going to be all you do all day long. But all right, fine. She cannot have a boyfriend, unlike FBs. Well, wait a minute. How come FBs can have a boyfriend and MLTRs? Because an MLTR is a woman you're dating and have feelings for. Why would you want to be in an emotional feelings relationship with a woman who already had a boyfriend? That's stupid. Now, so that's not a good idea. Now, most guys don't make that error, but just beware. If she has a boyfriend, she doesn't qualify for an MLTR. FB, sure. Sure. Done that many times. Not boyfriend. Or not MLTR, excuse me. Now, that being said, she can, most women won't do this. Women don't like doing this, but there's a few that will. She can have her own MLTRs. Remember, there's no rules on MLTR. You can do whatever you want. She can do whatever she wants. So she could have multiple MLTRs. Now, I've only been with maybe, I don't know, 3 women in my life who are MLTRs, maybe 2 or 3 women ever in 17 years, a lot of women, who was an MLTR and had her own MLTR guys. So it's rare, but it happens, pretty rare. That would be true polyamory, is that you have 3 or 4 MLTRs and all your MLTRs have MLTR guys. That's true polyamory, which I'm not a big fan of, but if that's what you like, fine. I'm just saying she can't have a boyfriend. Can't do long distance. Guys, try this. You can't have a long distance MLTR. I'm sorry. You can't. You can have a long distance FB. No problem. You can have a long distance OLTR as long as you manage it correctly. And you see her a lot. That's possible. Matter of fact, I'm doing that right now with Pink Firefly. So that's possible. You cannot have a long distance MLTR. Why? She'll say to herself eventually, why am I bothering dating this guy? He lives in another country. I never see him. I'll go date someone here in my city. But Caleb, won't she do that if she's an FB? No, she'll still see you if she gets a boyfriend if she's an FB. Women will still see you if they have boyfriends as FBs, but they will not date you. That's a bridge too far. So you cannot have, I'm sorry, long distance MLTRs. What do I mean by long distance, Caleb? Well, I mean, if you have to get on, my definition of long distance is you have to get on a plane to go see her. If you can drive 2 hours to see her, that's okay, I guess. All right, that's MLTRs. OLTR restrictions. Now we're getting into the shit. And this is some of the advice that some of you guys don't like, but I'm right. Are there restrictions with OLTR? Yes, there are many. OLTR is very complicated. OLTR is very dangerous. OLTR is only for certain types of men at certain ages. They're not like FBs and MLTRs. Just go get an OLTR. No. Here we go. Number one, you must be at least 30. I have entire articles in my blogs about this. I'm not going to go into detail about this. The bottom line is you are not allowed to have a girlfriend if you're under the age of 30. When you're in your 20s, there are other things, you have other priorities. Experimenting, experiencing, building your empire, not fucking with girlfriends who will put a halt to all of that shit. Girlfriends are dream killers. Girlfriends are something you get once you've achieved these things in life, not in your 20s. Number one. Number two, in your 20s, you get one-itis. You don't know what the fuck you're doing in your 20s. You also can't manage your emotions worth a goddamn in your 20s. All these guys you see on social media who scream and yell all the time, these are guys in their 20s. How do I know? I was like that when I was in my 20s. And you guys who are my age, 40s, 50s, 60s, or older, you remember in your 20s, you got mad all the time? Yes, because you're a child. I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult you. That's the reality. You should not have a girlfriend under those conditions. FBs, yes. Bang chicks, yes, please. MLTRs, fine. You can have all the MLTRs you want when you're 26. Great. That's fine. Not a goddamn girlfriend. Wait till you're at least 30, and 30 is a minimum. It's not like, oh, as soon as I turn 30, good, I have a girlfriend. No. Wait as long as you can, motherfucker. I'm seeing lots of questions. I'll cover those in a second. If you want to live with her, that's an OLTR wife, you need to be at least 35. If you move in with a woman that you're seeing romantically when you're under the age of 35, take a big stamp that says dumb fuck and just stamp it on your forehead and wait for the explosion to happen. Every guy who moved, including me when I was stupid, a dumb, stupid beta male back in the 1990s, when I married someone when I was 25, because I was a dumb fuck. She was blonde and had a big ass. That's all I'm like, okay, I want to move in with you. Okay. You're just setting a time bomb in your house, in your home, for a nuclear explosion to go off when you do this. No moving in with a woman until you are at least 35. 40s is better. There is a bunch of you right now, listen to the sound of my voice, right? That's bullshit. I'm right. I'm right about this. I don't care how badly you love her. I don't care what your mommy says. I don't care what Jordan Peterson says about marriage. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think about. I don't want to have kids when I'm 40. I don't care. This will not work. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Most men over 35 don't know what they're doing in a live-in relationship with a woman. Why is the divorce rate almost 80%? When you're under 35, you really don't know what the fuck. And the damage is worse. The damage is worse. All right. So no girlfriends till you're 30. No moving in with any women. And you can have roommates. That's different. Platonic roommates is different. No moving in with a woman in a romantic context till you're at least 35. OLTR. Okay? Okay. I don't care what your excuse is. You think you have a good excuse? Put it in the chat or the comments and you let me know and watch me eviscerate you. All right. Now, what about her age? This is what we don't talk about as much, but I have mentioned this before. How old can she be? Can she be any age if she's an OLTR? So let me explain this. OLTR means you have long-term expectations from this woman, right? That's what OLTR means. If you don't, she should be an MLTR. Do you want to get married to or get a serious girlfriend when she's 19? Use your brain, use your frontal cortex, not your amygdala back here, not your dick. Use your brain and think about, analyze that for a second. Is that a good idea to get a serious, let's say you're over 35. You're 35, you're 40. FBU's 19, fine. MLTR's 19, great. Girlfriend, committed girlfriend with long, and she's 19, 20, 21. Is that a good idea in the modern Western world? Tell me, be honest. No, it's a terrible idea. Because I still get emails from guys. Oh my God, I'm 36. I got divorced. I read all your books. It's great. And I have this 19-year-old and we're getting married next year. I get these emails. Some of you guys still do this. I got this serious OLTR. How old is she? 22. What the fuck? She's a teenager. A woman is a teenager until she's 23. I don't care that the first digit is in a 1. You don't know what you're dealing with. She's not the person she's going to end up being when she's 22 or 19. That's why you can't have an OLTR that young. So the age that I have drawn that line for OLTRs, the minimum, which is not ideal, is 25. Better, 27. I just got off a coaching call with one of you, and we were just talking about the age 27. 27 is like an amazing age. It's like almost the perfect age for women. It's great. So 27, fine. 25, you're pushing the envelope, maybe. If she's under 25, she should not be an OLTR. I'm sorry. Now, here's what you can do. And I've had some of you do this. You're dating someone who's 23. You like her a lot. She's only 23, though. Make her an MLTR and date her for 2 years so she's 25 or 26, then upgrade her. That's okay. That's fine. Odds are better than that, okay? All right. Older than that is much better. When I wanted to settle down with an OLTR wife, this is before I ever met Pink Firefly. I've talked about this. It's on my blog. You can go read it. When I was talking about this at the time, I wanted a woman in her mid-30s. What the fuck? That's past the wall and her ovaries are, okay, dumb fuck. Once a woman is 33, 34, that's the woman she's going to be the rest of her life. If she's 25, even 27, certainly 23, that's not the woman she's going to be. You're going to get serious with her. Then in 2 or 3 years, she'll say, I want this now. You'll be like, what the fuck? We agreed we're going to do this. Well, I changed my mind. That's what you're going to get if you marry a young girl. Now, again, 27 is okay. But even 27, I promise you, from 27 to 35, she will change major aspects of what she wants in life. So that's why Pink Firefly, when I met her, she was 33. Started seeing her when she was 34, 33. Anyway, that's why. Because I said, okay, this is good and bad. This is what I'm dealing with the rest of my life. And I was right. Pink Firefly has not changed radically at all. She's 44 now. She hasn't changed. She's 11 years ago. Same basic person. So that's why Pink Firefly don't have any problems. Because I don't have to worry about her waking up one day and changing her mind about this shit. Which, by the way, happened in my first marriage. So the older the better for OLTR. I know that goes against TradCon shit and red pill shit. I know that. I know. Sorry, it's the way it works. If you want a long-term happiness, that's how it works. If you don't care if the relationship blows up in your face 5 years down the road, then great. Go marry a 24-year-old, dumbass. All right. Again, with OLTR, you can only have one. So you got to think that through. You can only have one OLTR and a multiple OLTR. Long distance is okay as long as you do it correctly. That's a very big topic. Maybe I can do another live stream on that. Long distance is okay as long as it's not permanent and it's strategic and it can work. Unlike MLTR, you can't do long distance at all. And FB certainly can do long distance. Okay. And of course, the ultimate restriction to all of these models is you must be having sex with 2 women or more. If you are not, you are either an incel, which means you're having sex with nobody, or you are monogamous, which means you're having sex with one person. Even if you are what I call de facto monogamous, meaning you haven't promised, well, Kill, I'm not monogamous because I'm allowed to fuck other girls if I want, but you're not. Well, yeah. Okay, that means you're de facto monogamous. Or some guys will say, well, I'm only fucking her right now. Okay, you're monogamous. No, I never promised her I would be monogamous. But you're only fucking one woman. That means you're monogamous, dumbass. That's one of the rules of alpha male 2.0 minimums. You need to be having sex with at least 2 women. Now, 2 is okay. You don't be a maniac like me. And last several years, I've worked on reducing the number of women. I'm doing that right now, as a matter of fact. So 2 is fine, but it can't be 0 and it can't be 1. So if you have an MLTR, and you say that in quotes, but you haven't sex with anyone else in 6 months, you're monogamous. That's your monogamous girlfriend, dumb shit. No, oh, we have another talk. It doesn't matter. Plus, women, I've talked about this, women know this. Women know when you're the only one she's fucking. Women have intuition that we don't have. They know. They can smell it on you. They know. That's why a lot of women in monogamous relationships, when the man is cheating, they kind of know. Yeah. And what's funny in monogamous relationships, when the woman is cheating, the man has no idea. The man has no clue. He's always shocked. What the fuck? Whereas women kind of know. Okay. Let's address some questions. I'll go on to the next part. Let's see here. You guys are getting very excited about this topic. All right, I didn't realize. The 10 to 30% that can't be part of the Alpha 2.0 model. Oh, I never said that. I said Alpha Male 2.0 works on at least, well, I guess maybe inversely, between 70 and 80% of women. I don't understand what your concern is. You don't concern yourself. You should be dating multiple women all the time. You go on several first dates. You'll go on one first date and hope it works. So you shouldn't worry about this. That a small percentage will say no. It doesn't matter. Would you say it's true that the number one problem most men have in the West is that they don't have enough money? That's hard because I would say the number one problem is they're pussies and they're betas and they're low T. Because if they weren't pussies, they'd have money. So I don't know. That's, I've seen the most reason most men don't make big progress leveling up. The ones that can't survive the talk. That's very rare. The talk is 90% success rate. It's very rare. If you do the cardinal rules. I have never had a woman say no to the talk. I have 100% success rate with the talk. Okay. Would you have an FB with someone whose boyfriend you regularly see, not a close friend and acquaintance? No. Very good question. I would not do that. I would absolutely not do that. A, I'm lying to him and I'm lying to his face. I'm not going to lie to anybody. B, the odds of drama go way up. The odds of him finding out. If he found out, how would he react versus if he had never met you? You see the difference? So no, I would absolutely not do that. No, I would absolutely not do that. That's not a good idea. Bros before hoes is a real thing. I would never have sex, and I'll be honest with you, I've had opportunity to do this. I haven't done it. I would never have sex with a guy friend of mine's wife or girlfriend. I would never do that. Ever. I wouldn't even ask. And I've had opportunity. Not lately, but it's happened. I didn't do anything, but I had opportunity. And I said, no, can't do that. I know him. I work with him. He's a friend of mine. I'm sorry. So I would never, ever. We killed just an acquaintance. Same thing. I would never, ever have sex with an acquaintance's girlfriend or wife, including girlfriend. I would not do that. I don't do drama. Plus, bro, there's 4 billion women on earth. Why do you have to have that one? Okay, let's see here. How did you let go of your MLTR when it was time, moved away, Pink Firefly? I don't understand the question. When Pink Firefly became my OLTR, coincidentally, I didn't have any MLTRs at the time. My last MLTR kind of floated away a few weeks before, and then Pink Firefly became my OLTR. I think what he's referring to is if you make a woman your OL, let's say you have 2 MLTRs. You make a woman your OLTR, your upgrader, you got to go to the other MLTR and tell her you can't see her anymore or she's an FB. It's not fun. Now, I was lucky, just luck of the draw, that didn't happen to me because I happen to not have any MLTRs when I upgraded Pink Firefly, but I just got lucky, honestly. And my last MLTR was a real sweetheart. She was just, we're still friends. We still talk on Facebook occasionally. Nice person back in the US. Real sweetheart. Really nice person. One-itis sucks because the feeling. One weird tip is to go out that helped me with one-itis. One weird tip is to go out. Here's how you fix one-itis or help one-itis. Go fuck 2 new women who are hotter and or younger than her. There you go. 2-hour drive away from MLTR. I think that's too far for personal experience. I agree, but some men do that. How often do FBs go from going monogamous with some dude for a bit and break up, then return to being your FB? That's called a listen fitty. That happens very, very normally. That is typical. An FB or MLTR will go away, go play monogamy for a while. Long-term monogamy doesn't work. Women hate monogamy, and then they come back and see you. I have a 94% return rate for all FBs. Every woman I've had sex with at least twice, that is a very, very large list. 94% came back. I don't think there's any other man on the entire internet who could boast that. Most guys who have sex with a lot of girls, it's one and done, and they never come back and they never see them again. Talk about long-distance relationship. It seems like your own relationship with PF is also mostly long-distance. Wait till October. I'll explain exactly what I'm doing with Pink Firefly. I'm doing something brand new I've never done before, but I can't talk about it yet. But I will give you all the details in October or sooner. And I'm very excited to tell you because it's very exciting for me. But it's not set in stone yet, so I can't talk about it. I'm going to talk about things I've already done, not things I'm thinking about doing. Have you ever been criticized for leaving the USA of taxes as someone considered tax evasion or just societal programming? I've had random idiots on the internet say that to me. Well, fuck you, you're trying to get out of taxes. Yes, of course. Left-wingers. Yeah. Can you sleep? Can it have an FB sleep over if it's a threesome with your OLTR? Yes. If you make it very obvious, if it is very obviously clear to the FB that this is your girlfriend or your wife, and it's very obvious, yes. Matter of fact, I've done things like that. Yes, that's okay. Your frame has to be 100% rock solid with your OLTR and your FB. You can't make any mistakes. What you're talking about is advanced level stuff, and 80% of you are nowhere near that. There's about 20% of you who can pull that off. That's advanced level shit. Yeah. Caleb, you said in another video your son is black. My son's been on many videos on my other channel. You can go watch those videos. Yes. Mind telling us how that happened? I've talked about this many times. I married his mom. His mom was a blonde white woman back when I was a young, stupid beta male when I was 25. He was her kid from a dalliance she had. He was 4 years old. I adopted him and he became my son. I divorced his mom about 20 years ago. He's still my son. I currently day trade S&P 500 futures contracts. I have 100K saved up. Okay. If you were in the same situation, how would you use that money to get to the $1 million mark? I don't know how to day trade. I can't ask that. I would, if it were me, I don't day trade. That's not a skill I have. I would go start a consulting, coaching, or service-based business in a narrow niche via the 90-day business builder. And I would start a business and scale the fuck out of it. That's what I would do. We had a guy in 90-day business builder. Very proud of him. Last week, got his third client, second or third. I think it's his third client. Third client, starting from zero, no experience, $30,000. And most that's profit in his pocket. Third client, 90-day business builder. It works. I can't match with a girl over 5 online dating. If they do unmatch, what should I do? Take new photos. In terms of a healthy diet, what snacks do you eat throughout the day to stay energized and productive? Keto. Keto plus fruit. Why did you choose 35 as the age? What's with age 35? Does something happen to a man at 35? Yes. I've written entire articles about this. I've talked about this in my books. Older man and younger man, you cross into an older man at age 35. At age 35, the things you want in life for most men start to change. And I've seen this with hundreds of men, and you probably have too, if you think it through. 35 is definitely a transition for men. For women, women have a transition at 23. They have another transition at 28. They have another one at 33. Men only have one big transition. It's 35. 35 is older man. 34 and younger is younger man. Very different attitudes with men over 35 than with men under 35. That is indeed a breaking point. Yeah, not a breaking point. It's a what's it called? It's a milestone you cross and something changes. Yes. What are some acts you shouldn't do with FBs? Shower sex is okay. That's sex. Anything sexual is fine with FB. Matter of fact, you'll do things with FBs you won't do with some of your MLTRs and OLTR. Because your FB is a dirty little whore. You know, she could. It's the old joke about, what was that movie with Robert De Niro? Analyze This. You guys saw that movie? It's a comedy about him. He's a gangster, and he has a wife and he has a girlfriend. And so his therapist's like, so wait, you have a girlfriend and a wife? He goes, yeah. He's like, why do you have a girlfriend if you have a wife? He goes, well, I can do all the dirty sexual shit to my girlfriend that I can't do to my wife. And the psychiatrist's like, well, why don't you just do that dirty sexual stuff to your wife? He's like, excuse me, that's my wife. That's the mouth that kisses my children. Fuck you, man. So, you know. Plus, your wife or your OLTR, your MLTR may not want to do certain sexual stuff or physically can't. Here's my example. Pink Firefly is very tiny. Pink Firefly is so hot because I was just with her a few weeks ago. She's as physically fit as she's ever been in her life. She's toned and lean, and she got the big triple D titties, and she looks like Barbie. And oh my God, I was on her ass every day. Anyway, she's very little. Pink Firefly is very tiny. She's like 109 pounds, and 3 of that's probably in her tits. I'm more than double that. I could kill her. If I'm not careful, I could snap her in half during sex. So I got to be a little gentle. Whereas, as a comparison, my main FB here in Paraguay, she got the big ass, the big hips. She can take some fucking damage. So I can do things with her sexually that I necessarily can't or probably don't want to with Pink Firefly. What else can't you not do? Cuddling after sex. No, that's not a good idea. Nope. Cuddling, no. Again, what would send an incorrect signal? You're just a fuck buddy. Now let's cuddle. Doesn't make sense, right? You're just a fuck buddy. Let's go fuck in the shower. That makes sense. You kind of think it through. Would you think it's doable to move to Dubai for alpha male 2.0 doctor in his early 30s making 6 figures? Absolutely. That's a great fucking idea. You should do that right now. Are you kidding? You'll cut your taxes to almost nothing. And yeah, and it's a growth economy and the healthcare systems are great. Yes. I have a friend who's moving to Dubai. He's a doctor. Can't wait. What if you marry a young woman outside the West? I've seen Indian to Asian, South cultures. The shame is real. If the girl does change, the culture will shame her and uphold the promise. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I have written entire articles. You can't go to the non-Western world, marry a non-Western wife, and bring her back to the Western world. That will not work because then she'll become Western and you'll get divorced. I gave specific examples in my blogs of where I did that. I've experienced things like that, and other guys experienced things like this. That does not work. If you want to move to Saudi Arabia, convert to Islam, marry a Saudi Arabian wife, and stay the rest of your life, that could work. But if you're thinking about, I had a maniac on my blog once. I think I mentioned it before. He said basically you just said, but he was more detailed. He goes, okay, Caleb, what if, okay, Caleb, okay, I have a plan. Here's how monogamy can work, Caleb. This guy was serious. This is how maniacs want monogamy so bad. What you do is you go to India and you find an 18-year-old Indian virgin who's like traditional Hindu, okay, who's loyal and not Western, not been corrupted by the evil West, okay? And what you do is you marry her in India, then you fly her back to the United States, but then you move to Montana. And you get a log, this guy really said this, you get a log cabin out in the middle of nowhere with no TV and no internet, okay? And you leave her in this log cabin, you don't let her talk to anybody forever. Then you can make monogamy work. Insane. How do you feel about white lies? That's a personal decision. I have a personal code. I cannot tell you something I know is a lie. A white lie is still a lie. I cannot do it. So I can't do it. And I've caused problems in my life and in my business life when I could have lied and got out of something, but I had to tell the truth. I don't lie. But that's me. You make your own decision. Etc. You're talking to a new woman about a new city, but you plan on staying there a couple months. You tell her, I just moved there even when you know where I live. I would never do that. I would never do that. New women I meet, I show them a picture of me and Pink Firefly right off the bat. Now, that's also a DHV for me because Pink Firefly's hot. They go, oh my God, your wife's hot. But I don't lie. But it's up to you. What to say if a girl keeps asking you what kind of girl you're looking for and keeps pushing for specifics on the first or second dates, don't want to disqualify her? Is she over the age of 33? Because that happens with those. If she's not over the age of 33, then you do the best you can. And it may not work and you move on. Is it okay to downgrade and upgrade MLTRs and FBs frequently if I keep getting hotter and better girls? You can't do it frequently with the same girl, but you can do it frequently. Yes, sure. I don't want to end up with 3 MLTRs. It's fine. Is it okay to go on trips with an MLTR who is explicitly non-monogamous herself? Only if she's a high-end MLTR So the answer is no. It is not okay. It doesn't matter if she's a fuck the other guys. It doesn't matter. You're still saying the wrong signal. The answer is no. Now, if she's a high-end MLTR, 9 or 10 on the scale, you can go on a brief weekend trip to the beach or something and come right back. That's okay. What would be the right way to break you with a girlfriend? Break up with a girlfriend? I've never done that. I've never broke up with a girl. I don't break up with girls. I fuck them forever unless they get fat. So I'm not the right guy to ask. Just be nice. If your OLTR woke up and decided she now wants kids, that's the kind of thing you'll run into if you marry a young OLTR. You guys want to marry an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, 22-year-old? That's it. She'll say, I don't want any kids. You'll say, thank God, no kids. Then she'll hit 26 and say, I want kids now. You'll say, well, we agreed back 4 years ago. We agreed. You'll use a bunch of guy logic, which is what men do. You said that we wouldn't have any kids. And that she'll say, fuck you, I want kids. And you get divorced. Decided she now wants kids. She gets stressed around kids. Is it okay to tell her reasons it may not be a good idea? Of course, she's your girlfriend. You can have a conversation about it. But she'll probably tell you to fuck off. If a girl wants kids, she's having kids. Okay? By the way, here's a little secret about determining if a woman really wants kids. If she's under the age of about 30 and she says, I don't ever want kids, she's probably lying or she doesn't understand herself. It is the cool thing now with Gen Z girls, these left-wingers who say, I don't want kids. I want to live my life and be free. Fuck that. I don't want kids. And they all say that when they're 19, 20, 25, 26. You wait 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they have kids. Oops, what happened? I thought you said you didn't want kids. Now, if a woman in her 30s says she doesn't want kids, she doesn't want kids. You can take that to the bank because that's by then they know. So when Pink Firefly, when she was 33, I said, so you want kids? She's like, I want kids. Thank God, because I knew she wanted kids. Someone else I just talked to, she's 30. You want kids? No, I do not want kids. She doesn't want kids. Now, she was 26 and said, no, you have no idea what she wants. You got to wait 4 years, 5 years, see what she wants. If I marry my 19-year-old Brazilian girlfriend, you'll be a fucking moron if you do that. Yes. And wait a minute. Why do you have a girlfriend who's 19? That's also stupid. So you're breaking all the rules already. You should not have a 19-year-old girlfriend. Do you think it will blow up my face? I know it will blow up in your face. I would bet $100,000. I bet $100,000 and I'd win. She won't get any of my assets. Why does that matter? You want a relationship blows up in your face? Why do you want a relationship that'll blow up in your face? You have one itis. I think taking the risk of marrying a young woman is worth it. No, it's not. It's not a risk. It's a guarantee. It's a guaranteed explosion in your life. Now, if you are a weirdo, I shouldn't say that. If you're one of these men who don't mind explosions and you like chaos and drama and explosions and you kind of get off on that, there's about 10% of men are like that. Andrew Tate. If you're that kind of guy, what I said, don't take any of my advice. Go do whatever you want. Marry any girl you want. And you'll have all kinds of explosions and you'll kind of like it. If you're the other 90% of men and you don't want those kind of problems, you've got to follow these models. All right, a few more questions. We got to move on because we're running over time here. What attributes would you qualify an OLTR and stepmom to your kids if she has no kids of her own? What attitudes and level of help and love should she be providing to them or not? The second question is up to you. There's no right or wrong answer. The first question is, that's a very detailed answer. I can't answer that in a quick answer like this. You need to watch her for many years and watch how she behaves in her life and with children. Don't ignore what she says. Pay attention to what she does. And you watch. And if she's awesome with kids and awesome and very responsible and chill, great. If she's stressed out, pissed off, and she something's a little wrong on her desk and she freaks out, she shouldn't be anywhere near kids. All right, I got to move on with the content. We'll get back to your questions. All right. The next reason that having sex with at least 2 women, which I forgot to get to, is it won't make you happy. Monogamy will not make you long-term happy if you have a penis. I don't care what Jordan Peterson says. I don't care what Ben Shapiro says. I don't care what your mommy says. I don't care what your Catholic Christian church says. I don't care what your Muslim mosque says. I don't care what these people say. They're wrong. Long-term monogamy will not make you happy. And it doesn't fucking work. All right. Step 3, you need to assess your current life. So here are the factors you consider in terms of how many you want, what do you want, things like that. Your age. So if you're younger, You want to lean into more casual stuff. If you're 45 years old, maybe you think about settling down. Maybe that's okay. Age is important. Men, when they're 25, want very different things when they're 45. Remember, when they cross 35, that changes. If you are under the age of 35, when you hit 35, what you're going to want is going to change. I love all these guys who are like 27 saying, I'm never getting married. I'm never moving with a girl. Fuck that. I'm red pill. Yeah. How much you want to bet by the time you're 40, you'll be living with someone, or you will have lived with someone and it didn't work because it was monogamous? Yeah. Your sex drive. So some of you are horny bastards like me. I need to have sex all the time. That means you need more women, and generally that means more FBs. There's a reason I have a lot of FBs. I'm horny all the fucking time. I need to have sex. This is me now. Your guy's different. I need to have sex 3 times a week for maximum Caleb happiness. 2 times a week's okay. 3 is ideal. If I have it less than 2, I feel it. Now, some guys once or twice a week and they're fine. Some guys once or twice a month and they're fine, legitimately. Some guys are maniacs, need it every day. Well, they're rare, but they're out there. So you need to assess this. What's your sex drive? If you have a high sex drive, don't bullshit yourself about why I shouldn't date lots of girls. It's not right. No, if you have a high sex drive, you need more women, period. This is the mistake I made when I was a young kid. When I was in my 20s, I had a really high sex drive. It's 20s and 30s. This is before I went on TRT. TRT just made it worse. And I didn't acknowledge to myself that I need to have a lifestyle where I can satisfy my high sex drive. Some of you are in this category right now. Some of you guys have high sex drive and you're gritting your teeth in a monogamous relationship because you want to be a good Christian or something, or because you want to have kids or some societal programming, and you're miserable, just like I was. Do you have kids? Most of you don't. Some of you do. And if you do, especially if they're small, you know your schedule's more restrictive, which means you're going to lead toward less women and maybe more FBs and less MLTRs, because MLTRs take more time. Can you have MLTRs when you have kids? I did it for years, yes. But I was very organized. I'm a time management consultant. I know what I'm doing. How busy are you? Right? So, I mean, shit. I run 2.5 companies. I travel all over the world. I work 6 days a week. I have harems of women all over the place. I exercise 6 times a week. I'm a little busy. Right? So that means I need to simplify. I need to have a very structured, simplified woman life. I can't just do whatever I want and go hog wild like I could when I was 24. On the other hand, if you're 24 and you have nothing to do all day, you have wider numbers. How much money do you make? That's a factor. Not really a factor with FBs, unless they're sugar daddy. Now, if they're sugar daddy, it's a factor of FBs, but normal FB is not a factor. MLTR is not really a factor. MLTRs don't cost very much. Factor for OLTR. Girlfriends and wives cost some money. Statistically speaking, if you're following my advice, you don't get a girlfriend until you're over 30. Statistically speaking, you're going to make more money than her. Right? And the more money you make, the more that's true. I make 7 figures. So any woman I meet is going to make way less money than me, even if she makes good money. Right? So you need to factor that in there. Are you poor? If you're poor, you should have a girlfriend or a wife. What the fuck you doing? Do you travel a lot? A lot of you are digital nomads. And a lot of you, I get your emails and comments. You're like, well, you know, I'm a digital nomad. Every 3 months, I'm in a different country. So I meet a girl, I get an MLTR, and then I got to leave. What do I do? Yeah, that doesn't work. If you're a digital nomad, you're constantly changing locations all the fucking time. Can't have MLTRs. Sorry. FBs, yeah. You get an OLTR who you see regularly or follows you. That's okay. Can't have MLTRs. Can't do long distance. So you have to be aware of these things. And some guys, you know, you're leaving your country for 6 months or a year, and you date a bunch of girls right before you leave. And then you leave, and you're like, oh, yeah, dumb shit. You got to think this shit through. So I have a very specific, structured travel lifestyle. I spend most of the year in Dubai. I spend several months a year in Paraguay. And I spend about 1 month a year-ish in other places. So I structure my woman life to reflect this. Even more so now, including when I can't talk about yet. Is there a transition coming soon? So, for example, do you want to have kids? You don't have kids, but you want to have kids soon. You need to factor that in there. But just FBs isn't going to work. right? Are you going to move soon? Are you going to leave the country soon? Are you going to switch? Are you going to quit your job? You got to be aware of these things. Do you have any big transitions coming up or the next few years? Like if you want to have kids right now, banging a bunch of 19-year-olds is probably not a good move, right? If you're 42 and you have no kids, you want kids now, right? Having a bunch of 19-year-old FBs is fine, but that's not going to solve your problem. Right? Configurations, last piece, and then we'll get back to your questions. Here are the specific configurations that I know works. I've been talking to thousands of men about this over the past 15 years. Configurations I have used, configurations many of you have used. These are the best configurations you can utilize to make yourself happy based on how you are. All right, so here's the easiest default one that I always start with is 1 MLTR and 1 FB. It's the easiest one, best for beginners. So a lot of you are beginners. A lot of you are former beta males moving into alpha male 2.0. Great. This is the best one. 1 MLTR and 1 FB on the side. Now you might think, well, Caleb, wouldn't it be easier to have 2 FBs for a beginner? No, because if you're a beginner, you're coming off beta male land. And if you're coming off beta male land, you'll want to have feelings, right? You want to have feelings. I want to have feelings for somebody. Great. So you have feelings for your MLTR, not OLTR. MLTR, she's not your girlfriend. That's complicated. This is not complicated at all. You have feelings for a girl you like, an MLTR you're dating, and you have 1 FB you see on the side occasionally. I've said this 10,000 times. I'll say it again. Any man listening to the sound of my voice can accomplish that. 1 MLTR and 1 FB. I don't care how ugly you think you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how much of an incel you think you are. I don't care how much of a beta you think you are. I don't care if you just got divorced or you're out of practice. That was me. Any man listening to the sound of my voice can have 1 MLTR and 1 FB. That is an achievable goal for any man in the world. I'm not talking here about banging Instagram models and having 14 FBs, 1 MLTR, 1 FB. Okay, doable. Next one is several FBs, no MLTRs, just FBs. That's awesome. Best for if you're very busy and you want to focus on work. A lot of you are building your Alpha 2.0 companies, and you're like, I don't want to focus on woman stuff. Great, 2 FBs. 2 FBs in rotation, no MLTRs. Awesome. I did that for a while. It was great. By the way, every one of these models I'm about to show you, I've done, except for one. I've done all these. So I've been doing this for almost 20 years. Okay. FBs are awesome. 2, 3 FBs, great. I've said before, if Pink Firefly, my wife, died tomorrow, I would just have FBs for the next several years lined up. Be great. I wouldn't date at all. Be awesome. And I would make a lot of money. Better for younger guys, better for guys, high sex drive guys. Although you could have multiple MLTRs, multiple FBs if you're in a high sex drive. So 1 MLTR, many FBs. I've done this. Great. Very flexible model, and you still get the feelings. Okay, that works. Multiple FBs, multiple MLTRs. I've done this. It's time consuming, but it is fun. So for several years, I had 2 MLTRs, sometimes 3, and 3, 4, 5 FBs. It was time consuming. Didn't work as hard as I do now. But if you have free time and you want to do it, enjoy yourself for a few years, especially if you're not younger, great. Perfectly fine. Now we're getting OLTR. This is the easiest OLTR model to follow. 1 OLTR girlfriend and 1 FB on the side. It's the same thing as MLTR with 1 on the side, except you have a girlfriend. So this is the easiest of the girlfriend configurations. You have your girlfriend, you have 1 FB on the side. Now here's the danger with OLTRs. A lot of you guys do this. A lot of you guys have done this and I scream at you. When you get an OLTR, you're going to start getting complacent. Okay? Well, she sucks my dick all the time and she's great in bed and she's hot and why do I need an FB? And I'm busy with work and then you wake up 4 months later and you've only had sex with your OLTR and now congratulations, you're monogamous. So you need to keep that FB forever. If she goes with you, bring in another one. My personal model has always been minimum 3 women because if I get down to 2, 1 leaves, I'm monogamous. I don't want to be monogamous. So my minimum is 3. So if 1 leaves, I have time to replace that 3rd one. I'm not monogamous. That's my thing. So this is my favorite, at least what I've been doing the last several years of my life. It's not my favorite. There is no favorite. It's the one that works for me now at my age. I'm in my early 50s. And I've been there, done that kind of guy. One OLTR, many FBs on the side. That's what I've been doing for many years now. I have FBs all over the world, and I love my wife. And sometimes my wife is involved, and usually she's not. Fine. Awesome. It requires lots of organization and relationship management skills. You need to be on your toes. This is a more complicated one. OLTRs are complex, take a lot of time and effort, and then managing a bunch of FBs on the side, that takes another hunk of time and effort. You need to know what you're doing. This is more of an advanced model. So if you're a newbie, you don't do one OLTR and 6 FBs on the side. If you're new at this, if you're intermediate or advanced, go for it. And you're over the age of 30. Remember I said OLTR? There you go. 1 to 3 MLTRs, no FBs. I do not like this, and I have never done this. It's one of the few I have never done. But if you're a super emotional fucking guy, fine. Fine. If you have feelings for any woman you have sex with, I have a brother like this, fine. However, you need to be aware of the I can't have FBs trap. I've written entire articles about this. Men who get touchy-feely, romantic-feely feelings for every woman they have sex with, that's a problem you need to fix. You can't just say, well, that's just the way I am. No, that's a challenge because you're going to get one-itis and have lots of problems in life. You're going to have sex with many women who don't deserve your feelings. I have had many FBs throughout my life, and I've said this many times. Many of those FBs, not most, but many of them were not quality people. They were not good people. They were bad people, not quality women at all. I wore a good condom, and they were just FBs, so it's okay because they were hot and the sex was good, and they were nice to me. But I've had FBs who were drug addicts. I've had FBs who were just horrible, awful people, have people in their lives. I've had some horrible people as FBs. Not lately. I don't do that anymore. But I've had many of them. So if I had this thing where every time I fuck a woman, I fall in love with her, I get feelings, very bad. So that's a problem you need to fix, not just say, that's how I am. It's like someone who's 400 pounds. Well, I like to eat food. That's just how I am. No, you fucking fix it, fat ass. Same thing. If you get feelings, and I understand. I have friends like this. I have one of my brothers is like this. He's been very honest. Look, Caleb, as soon as I have sex with someone, I immediately fall in love with her. I can't help it. He's a super beta. That's not good. Matter of fact, that same brother is now in therapy because of that problem. So you need to resolve that. You don't just say, that's how I am. I'm an emotional guy. You can be an emotional guy and have FB relationships. It's possible. I know guys who are very high on the emotional scale, alpha male 2.0s, and they have FBs. Be really close friends with your FBs, like I talked about earlier. Here's another one of my favorites. Tons of FBs all over the world in different flags. Now, this is good if you are traveling, you live an international lifestyle, but you revisit the same flags over and over again. Okay, so let's say I know a guy who lives in UK, but he's in Bali all the time. Great, get some FBs in Bali, get some FBs in UK. Boom, problem solved. Awesome. If you're going all over the place to different places, that doesn't work. But if you revisit the same places, which is kind of what I've been doing the last few years, I have Dubai, I have UK, I have Paraguay, I have United States, a few other places, but I revisit these places. I go there all the time, normally. All right. One quick announcement. I will finish up your questions. I'm announcing this now. You can't get it yet. You can get it next week. I'm announcing this now so you know what's coming. The SMIC Vault. This is when I used to run the SMIC program for 12 years. We accumulated over 300 hours of audio and video alpha male 2.0 content. That is nothing you can get in the public. The public cannot see it. And those of you who bought the big bundle I did a few weeks ago, the big mastery bundle, we got a bundle of all my stuff. It's not in that bundle either. It's completely separate. It's bigger than that bundle. I offered this back in February, just for a few days. A bunch of you asked me to do this again, so I'm doing it again next week. So for 5 days, you can get this. After 5 days, you cannot get it. You can't buy it. It's like $300, I think. And it's 300 hours of me, of both 50% business content, 50% woman content. And it's stuff I don't talk about publicly. And I don't talk about my courses either, because it's a private group of people I was talking to. and I give you like intimate details on shit next week. So if you have any interest in this, pay attention to the emails you get from me if you're on my email list, and or pay attention to my YouTube channels. Pay attention if you want in on this. It'll be Monday through Saturday of next week. And after Saturday, it's gone. Cool? All right. August 12th, August 17th. All right. Let's get back to your questions. And then I got to wrap this up. Jesus, you got a lot of questions. Hang on. Take a drink of water. Hang on. What do you say if a girl... Oh, no, I already answered that one. Where am I here? I use a Whoop for monitoring fitness and recovery, and in my experience, your HRV will be wacky for a while after being sick. Oh, really? Okay. That's what the consensus seems to be. It should fall back in line after it resets your baseline. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how long that takes. Does it take 2 weeks? My guess is 2 weeks. That's my guess. It's been a week since I felt better. Well, maybe 5-6 days since I felt 100% better. So yeah, all right. That's kind of what I'm assuming. Okay, that's good to know. So far, Tinder Platinum and Bumble have been working okay in my New Jersey. I know I'm working on leaving. With working with people, do you know of any other dating apps that are effective in New Jersey? All the standard ones, dude. OkCupid, Bumble, Hinge, Hitch, all the standard ones. New Jersey is very standard. What separates baby boomer and Gen X, incels and virgins? Let me turn this off here. What the hell? There we go. What separates baby boomer and Gen X virgins and incels from millennial and Gen X virgins and incels? That's a really good question. Well, with millennials and Gen Z, there's a lot more of them. There were very few virgins in my generation. Very few. I can't think of one that I remember being friends with. Yeah, man, I can't think of one guy I grew up with in his 20s who never got laid. Even the nerdy guys eventually got around to it. So that is the answer. It's more of a norm now. We didn't have the term incel in 1986. We're all getting laid. No, I wasn't. I was getting laid. But I eventually got laid. Got laid quickly. Didn't stay that way forever. So, because I was in high school. What is the number one actionable step or habit to implement if you are bad with women and want to improve life in that area? There isn't one. There's a few. There's 4. Maximize your physical appearance. Confidence, even if you fake it till you make it. Outcome independence, even if you fake it till you make it. And then dating skills. Those are the 4. Those are 4 things you got to work on. Work on those 4. So pick one. Work on one. Pick the next one. Work on the next one. This is exactly what I did, by the way. Way back in 2007, I was a divorced beta male dad in his 30s with thinning hair and a big gap in his tooth and was chubby and didn't know how to dress and had sex with any other girl except my wife for almost 10 years. Didn't know the fuck I was doing. That's exactly what I did. Physical appearance, confidence, outcome independence, and skill, game skill. And game skill is the least important one, but it's one of the 4. That's what I did. Worked. Why did you marry PF and make her your OLTR wife? Why don't make her your OLTR girlfriend? Because we moved in together. Remember what I said earlier? If you move into the woman, she becomes your wife. Doesn't matter what you signed or didn't sign. Now, she signed a lot of documentation. My finances are 100% protected, and I'm international. So if we get divorced, I've said it 10,000 times, I will spend about $120 in filing fees. That's it. So I'm protected. Doesn't make everything harder, assuming you never want to settle down forever. Do you want to live with a woman later in life or not? Now, if you're under the age of 35, you don't know the answer to that question. You can't. I don't know how old you are, Carl Svensson. I don't know how old you are. I have a feeling you're under 35. That's my guess. You have no opinion on this till you're 35. When you're 35, then think about, do I want to ever live with a woman? Now, there's a small percentage of men who say, fuck no. Great, who are over 35. That's rare. The vast majority of men anywhere in the world, including Western men, including pickup artists, including MGTOWs, including red pills, they all eventually do this, don't they? When they're over 35, they eventually move in with somebody because that's what human beings want. And that's what I eventually wanted in my late 40s. So it's fine, as long as I can have sex with other women every week, and I do. How many girls do you need on your roster before you can rely on them just for regular sex at least twice a week and never need to meet new women? This is counting listed fitties. That's a good question. I don't know what the exact number is. It's at least 15, probably 20, certainly 25. You got 25 women on the roster, you're pretty healthy. Are you able to rely entirely on referral game for new women? Me, yes. But I've been doing this for 17 years. Yes. I don't ever need to go to a dating site. And I haven't. I haven't. I don't need to. The only time I ever go to a dating site or sugar daddy site, a new site is if I'm experimenting on something unusual, and I haven't done that in quite a while. No, I can literally write off my roster, which is all of the world now, and referral game. Yes, I can do that. It's nice. I live very well. Follow-up statement from the last time I said that South Carolina is the best place for women. Huh? I meant to say in the U.S., not the world. However, the bias can be okay. I can't wait until you let us know what you're doing in your women life currently. Now, one of the reasons I cannot talk about this, and it's going to be very dangerous when I do discuss this, is what I'm doing is advanced alpha male 2.0 stuff for advanced alpha male 2.0s only who make a lot of money, who've been non-monogamous for 10 plus years. So that covers maybe 4 or 5% of you. So when I explain this, you'll see when I do this, how I handle this. I already have mapped out how I'm going to handle this. I'm going to keep saying every 5 minutes, now don't do this. I'm doing this. You can't do this. Don't do this unless you make a 7-figure income and you're location dependent and you have 10 years experience fucking lots of different girls and long. Because a lot of you guys who will not qualify for this are going to want to do it. By the way, those of you who some of you know what I'm doing. Those of you who went to my live events, if you went to my London event, if you went to one of the Paraguay events, if you went to the Phoenix event, you have an idea what I'm doing. You have an idea. Just keep quiet, don't tell me. And even then, I told you guys, if you're watching, listen to this. What did I tell you guys? Don't do this. I'm doing this. Most of you should not do this. It will blow up in your face if you do this. Are you Caleb? Have you been doing this for 17 years? No. There's a few of you who can. There's a small percentage of you, I put around 5% maybe of the audience, who has the ability to do what I'm now doing or attempting. But yes, I will talk about it. Have you considered the relationship model in the 50s where you're married but have a mistress on the side? That's cheating. I don't do cheating. Cheating is lying and cheating is drama. No. Before you go bareback with an FB, do you ask her explicitly about her SD check? Are you fucking kidding? I need to see it. I need to see your SD test, not ask her. Show me go get an SD test, send me the email, or show me on your phone. Oh yeah, are you kidding? Plus, she needs to show a long track record of responsible behavior. Not what she says, what she does. I observe her. Oh, that's the least of what she needs. A lot more than that. Why can't you keep living the way you did at 20s after 35? You can, just most men won't want to. Assuming you look like you're 20 and live a healthy life for the rest of your life, your lifespan will extremely long. Yes, you can. I didn't say you can't. I said most men are going to want. This is a fact, and you guys can fight this all you want, you young guys. The vast majority of men over the age of 35 eventually want to live with a woman. That is a fact. So once you're over 35, you can make that determination. Could you be one of the rare exceptions? Sure, then go ahead. I know 1 or 2 guys who are over 35 and never want to move. They're rare. I know 1 or 2. But the vast majority of men, look at every famous pickup artist. All of them, including me. But the ones who are more famous than me back in the day, what did they all end up doing once they were over 35? They all moved in with someone, did they? Paul Janka, Mystery, Neil Strauss. I mean, a lot of them blew up their fucking faces because they know what they're doing in terms of relationships. But that's the norm. All these red pill guys too. These guys are red pill now. Wait 10 years when they're over 35 and watch what they do. They'll move in with somebody. Okay? Watch, because that's just what men want to do, because men are human beings, and human beings are not monogamous creatures, but we are pair bonding creatures, which is very confusing for humans. How are we doing time? Okay. Let's see. I can't agree with that wife FB comment, Black Dragon. What happens if you learn she did something hardcore with a casual partner, but not you? What comment? I don't recall what comment. Understand. Also, is it advisable to have an FB if I find only mid-level attractive? Sometimes I have to psych myself into it. That's not a good idea, but I think it's healthy now to avoid one-itis. No, it's not. It will not help you. Fucking ugly girls is not going to help you avoid one-itis. No, please go get someone hotter. What does your daughter think of your non-monogamous lifestyle as well as your non-monogamy in general? Go watch the video I did on the Alpha Male 2.0 YouTube channel with my daughter, and we talked for like an hour and a half about that. The bottom line is your kids don't care. Your kids don't give a shit what you do. And you guys with kids, you understand. They don't care what you do. They don't give a shit. So my daughter doesn't give a shit. To her, it's normal because I've been like that her whole life since she was old enough to understand when she was like in high school. So this is nothing new for her. She doesn't even care. And my daughter is a left-wing libertarian, and she grew up in Portland, Oregon, where there's lots of polyamory weirdness going on. So to her, it wasn't weird. A woman flaked last week and said, I'm really busy, and explains life story. I just got out of a relationship and I feel like it's not my timing. I'm so sorry. Is this normal flake or my frame? Yes, that is a normal flake. I can confirm priorities change for men after the 30s. I feel like I was a kid before 30. And it's not even 30, it's 35. Yeah. What's the long game for a man who prefers MLTRs as he ages? Any other tips for how you've managed MLTRs over 33? There are no tips. You just got to put in a lot of numbers, and some work and some don't. The long game for a man who prefers MLTRs over 33, I think that's what you're asking. I prefer to date women over 33, and I prefer MLTRs. Tough road. You can make it work. Be prepared to date a lot of women over 33. And 2 or 3 will work out, and the rest will say, fuck you. You're wasting my time, you player asshole. I mean, you just be prepared for this. I've done it. There's no tips. There's no technique. Women don't like it. Women over 30 hate dating when they're not serious. They hate it. But there's a few independently minded women out there. You just got to find them. The only way to find them is put in the numbers. Would it be a good idea to move to Colombia? Yes. There you go. Move to Colombia. Yes. Please get out of the collapsing West and move to Colombia. And get a constant stream of pussy. Yes. And then focus on my business. I'd assume it's easier to focus on business when you're not focused on pussy all the time. That is a decision every man needs to make for himself. Depends on how badly you need pussy. If you've got plenty of money and you want to focus on pussy first, sure. That's fine. Love this guy. Straightforward. Respect. Cool. You're very welcome. What, in your opinion, are the best online resources men over 35 could use radically to improve their time management? Your age is not relevant to time management. You should get my mini course on time management for the Alpha Male 2.0. Go to store.calebjones.com. Do you think it's healthy to have an OLTR plus hookers freelancers instead of FBs? Considering I have a super high sex drive and freelancers, what does freelancer mean? Is that a term? You mean sugar baby? How is freelancer different than hookers? I don't know what freelancer means. Considering I have a high sex drive and freelancers easier to maintain than FBs. I don't know what freelancers means, so I'm going to say hookers or sugar babies. Sugar babies, if you can afford it, you can easily afford it. Most of you can't. If you can easily afford sugar babies on the side, go for it. I have 1 or 2 of those. It's fine. That's okay. I can easily afford it. Hookers. Here's my thing about hookers. That is not my thing. I have a bias against hookers because hookers, I've talked about this in my books in great detail. Hookers are required to fuck you. It's their job. I know hookers. I've known hookers. If they show up at your door, if a hooker shows up at a guy's door and he's an old man in a wheelchair and he's 400 pounds, he's drooling, she has to fuck him. She can't say, ooh, gross, I don't want to fuck you. Sugar babies can. Sugar babies are very choosy. Very choosy. So some game is required for sugar babies. No game is required for hookers because they have to fuck you. So do I want to have sex under a condition where she has to fuck me no matter what? I'm not into it. But if you can afford it and use all the precautions, fine. I have friends who use hookers. I know guys, there are guys in my audience who use hookers. Fine. As long as you're careful. It's not my thing, but that's fine. You think public figures like Russell Brand and Elon Musk started their right-wing Christian conservative grift because, I don't know if it's a grift. I think they're probably honest. Because they knew Me Too allegations were coming for them. Seems to be a common pattern. I don't believe that, no. I think Russell Brand is honest. I think Elon Musk is honest. I think Elon Musk doesn't have the social skills to act like something he isn't. Russell Brand does. So maybe Russell, I don't think so. I don't agree with your assessment. I think they're being honest. Again, these guys turned 35. Russell Brand used to be under 35. What was his life like then? Now he's over 35. What is his life like now? Men change when they hit 35. Off topic, how do you achieve consistent motivation each and every day? Discipline is the typical answer, which I practice, but sure, it would be nice in my head if I could quiet all the self-doubt in my head. Well, self-doubt and motivation are two very different things. So you're talking about two completely different things. Consistent motivation isn't consistent. Some days you're like, I don't want to do this. And you force yourself to do it. And when I have days like that, I say, do I want my goals or not? Because I know what my goals are. I review them every day. I have affirmations. I review them every week. I know what my goals are. I know how bad, I know why I want them and how badly I want them. And I visualize how good they're going to be. I said, do I want this or not? Yeah, I guess I better fucking do this then. You don't get consistent motivation every day. Most days, if you do everything I talk about, Alpha Male 2.0, 8 hours of sleep a night, drinking lots of water, having frequent sex, exercising often, TRT, getting your hormones in check. You do all those things, you'll be motivated most days. I'm motivated most days, but not every day. There are days like, man, I don't want to fucking do this. But I do it anyway because I want my cash. I've already achieved all my woman goals, more than achieved those. I haven't achieved my financial goals yet, close. I have not achieved my physical goals yet. So I want them, and I will have them. Aren't all these FBs going to distract you? If you're emotional and not organized, yes. If you're immature and or emotional and or not organized, yes. So you want to be organized about this, correct. Also, coming all the time weakens you. Coming all the time weakens you. Show me your links, show me your data. Not true. All these relationship FTs will surely show down a man's mission. Yes, if you have, I mentioned this earlier in this presentation, if you have 2-3 MLTRs and a pile of FBs, that will slow you down. And it did when I did it, correct. That's why I said what? One MLTR, one FB. That's 2 girls. Are 2 girls going to slow you down? No. One OLTR. Now, OLTR will slow you down. That's why you need to be older. But for you older guys, one OLTR and one FB on the side or 1 or 2 FBs, is that going to slow you down a lot? No. I had the thought that I wouldn't want the woman I love to do anything degrading, even giving me a blowjob. Do you think there's any validity to that? There is absolutely no validity to that at all. That is all pure societal programming. You need to read The Unchained Man and work on your societal programming. Maybe a dumb question, but what is referral game? How do you get that going? Very big topic. Go look on my channel. Go read my blogs. It is how you have sex with women from women you're already having sex with. So the FBs you're already seeing, you fuck their girlfriends, their roommates, their sisters with their help. That's referral game. That's what I do. That's what I do now. Do you agree with the passport bros when they say that Western women ain't shit? I don't agree with that at all. My wife is Western. And they don't dat them, or do you think it's just an excuse because they don't have game? It's an excuse because they don't have game. It's 2 things. It's an excuse they don't have game, and it's boo-hoo, I want the 1950s to come back. Passport bros is just another category of tradcon, another category of red pill. Boo-hoo, I want the 1950s to come back when everything was perfect and women were perfect, and they weren't. So it's a combination of that plus I don't have any game. I have to go to I got to go to Ukraine to get laid because I can't get laid in the United States. You know how many women I had sex in the United States before ever leaving the United States? Like a lot. Because I worked on my game. Do you still pick up a waitress, bartender, store clerk from time to time? I do not. I don't need to. I don't want more women. I want less women. I have the opposite problem. Any opinions on the Google antitrust case they lost? I have not followed that at all. I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't see corporatism losing this one, frankly. I don't even know what you're talking about. Don't know. Good question. My OLTR wife, you have an OLTR wife, I hope you're over the age of 35. Likes to be open in the summer when she goes out to her country but doesn't want to talk about it. Should I just be forward to explain the FB concept? If she doesn't understand the FB concept, she's not your OLTR wife. She's an open relationship you've got. It's not an OLTR. The OLTR means man and woman fully understand the model, how it works. The reason open marriages fail, and everyone likes to point out their favorite celebrities who try open marriages and they blow up. 100% of these open marriages that are not OLTR marriages, but they're open marriages fail, is they don't follow the OLTR rules. The man or the woman, usually the woman, goes out and dates dudes. She goes on trips with guys and has long romantic phone calls at night with her side guy. You can't do that in an OLTR. It will not work. You have to draw a line hard. FBs only for the man and the woman. Period. Period, period, period. That's why it doesn't work. That's why non-OLTR open relationships don't work. I have dates lined up, one coming up with a girl. I had an excursion about 6 months ago. No interaction until now. We're getting coffee. Should I treat this like a first or second date? First. What do you think is the best strategy game in your opinion? Civilization 5. Age of Empires, Civilization, Total War. Civilization 5 is probably my second favorite game of all time. I can't fucking wait to play that game again. Civilization 5. Oh, just thinking about it makes me happy. God, that game is so amazing. God fucking damn it. And I used to play it on a giant 72-inch TV. I have all my gaming stuff set up. This is before I was serious about my goals. I'd play there. Now I was still serious. I'd play for an hour. I'd set an hour timer and I'd go back to work. I stopped playing video games in around 2018. Been reading Get to Sex Fast, back to front. Cool. Thoughts on Elon having 12 kids? Do you think he does it simply because he's super rich? Yes. Eddie Murphy has 10 kids. When you're ultra wealthy, you can have all the kids you want, including if you're a woman. I did an article about, that's the answer. When money is no object, you have all the kids you want because you pay child support. So what? You don't care. Kate Winslet. Many years ago, there's a thing about Kate Winslet maybe she has more now, but years ago, she had 3 kids from 3 different men and a bunch of right-wing conservatives, she's a slut, what a whore. And I wrote an article about this saying, she's Kate Winslet. She's world famous and she's an ultra multi-gazillionaire. She can have all the fucking kids she wants. She'll just hire nannies to raise them. She doesn't care. So when you're a man or a woman, you can have all the kids you want when you have lots of money. You know how many kids I can have? I've thought about it. You know how many kids I can have all over the planet Earth right now if I wanted to? I can do it because I can afford it. Not gonna, but I've had thoughts. Do you think men who only mess with non-Western women grow a sense of entitlement when they try and fail to get with Western women? Some, sure. Hooker obligated to fuck you. Wife obligated to fuck you. Good argument for having FPs. Wrong. Your wife is not obligated to fuck you. One of the reasons long-term monogamy doesn't work is your wife will eventually stop fucking you or cut way back on the sex at a minimum. And there's nothing you can do except cheat. Jerk off to porn like a beta or go cheat and get caught. That's why monogamy doesn't work. I've said this. If women were wired the way men were sexually, and society wouldn't work if they were. But if women were horny for their husbands forever and just wanted to fuck the shit out of their husbands forever, like for 50 years straight, you wouldn't really need non-monogamy. Not really, unless you're really into variety, maybe. But a lot of guys wouldn't need to do it. My wife fucks me every day. She's fucked me every day for 57 years. And she never got fat. Okay. But that's not how women work, is it? Even Pink Firefly will say no to me sometimes. Not often. Not nearly as often as a monogamous wife. But it happens because she's a wife. Did you start your non-monogamy life at 35? Yes, so 35 or 36 when I got divorced. Were you actually looking to settle again after your divorce? No. It sounded like you wanted to play around until way later in life. When I got divorced, here's what I said, because I'm self-aware and I'm not an idiot. When I got divorced at age 35, I said, I'm going to play around for 10 or 15 or 20 years. I'm going to go get some pussy because I'd only had sex with a few women at that point. I was a beta male, okay? So I'm going to go do all the things I couldn't do when I was in my 20s in high school. And I did. But then I also said, unlike you guys saying, I'm never getting married. Why would you marry a woman? Unlike you guys, I was smart to say, at some point, Caleb, I'm going to want to settle down again. I said, not now, not for many fucking years. I didn't for like 15 years. But I knew at some point I will. At some point in my 40s or 50s or 60s, I'm going to want to settle down, and I'm going to have to do it in a non-monogamous fashion. So I'll have to design a model. I didn't have OLTR back then. I'll have to design some kind of model where I can have a non-monogamous relationship with a loving wife and make that work. And that's what I did. So that's what I thought when I got divorced, when I was 35. How did you change you gain 35? In comparison before 35. I've told that story 10,000 times about when I took my laptop out and I wrote out my life and I realized I lived my life wrong. And that was around age 35. That whole story I've told many, many times. That was like 33, 34. I think you divorced at 36, 37. No, I divorced at 35. If you were not married, do you think you would have changed much in hindsight? Yes, absolutely. What is the prime years for men? It is also 35? No. Prime time for men, as long as you don't get fat, is 40s. In the modern era today, not physically, but in terms of every aspect of your life, is 40s. My 40s was a paradise. And a lot of you guys who are 40s, you know what I'm talking about. 40s is fucking awesome. 20s, everybody hates you and everyone thinks you're a nerd and nobody wants to fuck you. 30s, you're building shit, you're figuring shit out. 40s, woo! 40s is prime fucking time. Unless you let yourself go in your 40s, a lot of men do. If you completely let yourself go physically in your 40s, then no. But if you stay physically viable in your 40s, prime time is your 40s, which I've just left. Now I'm 52. So I've left my prime time. I'm headed down the other side of the slope. You said your mom is a former nun, correct? How do I come out of the closet to my evangelical Christian family as a red pill adjacent? What does red pill adjacent mean? What do you guys use these stupid terms for? Go to my blog, the Alpha Male 2.0 blog, alphamale20.com/blog, and look in the archive for Christianity or religious program. I did an entire article about that because I was raised Catholic, hardcore Catholic, because my mom was a nun. Thanks for answering our questions. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Why do you guys, the West, want the 1950s back? Not all guys, right-wingish guys. It was a unique time in history, economically, and culturally that it will happen again. Oh, it could happen again, but not in the West. You could argue that Dubai is 50s-ish right now. You can make that argument. So it's not true. And culturally, I'm having again, like the Renaissance, never happening again, unique time in history. These men who want the 1950s back don't do that analysis. They just look at, these Gen Z girls with the shaved side of their head and the purple hair and all these gay people, and they go, God damn it, I want the 50s again. They're not engaged in analysis. They're engaged in emotion, which is the problem with emotions. You need to be rational and objective. The 50s are never coming back to anywhere in the Western world, correct? They could come back in other places way down the road, but yes, that is correct. And I couldn't live the lifestyle I now live if it was 1950s. Could I have like MLTRs and OLTR in the 50s? Unless you were a very famous celebrity, maybe. But even then, it was a lot of problems. So, could I have a location-independent business, online-based company in the 19th? No. So, there were some really good things about the 50s. There were some terrible things about the 50s. There were some horrible things about the 50s. I understand some of this because I am nostalgic irrationally about the 80s. I grew up in the 80s and I love the 80s. And I think about the 80s a lot because that was my era. And the 80s was fucking awesome. The 80s was amazing, way better than the 50s. But the 80s wasn't perfect. We had some fucking problems in the 80s. There were some issues in the 80s. Red pill adjacent are guys like Andrew Tate and Michael Sartain. I don't even know who Michael Sartain is. Aunt B was like 40. The 50s are overrated. I've talked about this. The article I wrote a while back was I was watching Bridge in the River Kwai. Good movie. And Alec Guinness, who was Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he's sitting there on the bridge talking to his lieutenant. And he's talking about how old he is. And he looks old. He looks like an old man. And he's like, oh, I'm so old now. And I don't have very many years left. And I'm like, he's my age. This is back when I was like 48. Like, he was my age now in that movie. He looks like an old man and he's acting like an old man. Yeah, man. Even with the collapsing Western world, there are advantages of living in this era. Trust me. And there are disadvantages. But you can mitigate the disadvantages through lifestyle, Alpha Male 2.0. Location-independent business, multiple women on rotation. Boom. And if you want, and you should, international lifestyle. Now you're protected against the collapsing West. Now it fucking doesn't matter. That's why all you guys freak out about Trump and stuff, and I don't care. I'm not affected by this stuff. All right. I have gone extra long today, so I have to go. If you're interested in the SMIC Vault, pay attention to your email, pay attention to the YouTube channel. Either one. I have both. And I will see you guys next week at the Unchained CEO. If you didn't know, the live streams are 1 p.m. EST every Monday and Wednesday. The Alpha Male 2.0 one is on Wednesday. The Unchained CEO one is on Mondays. Cool?